Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. It is Tuesday, July the 31st, 2018, and SmackDown Live came to us from Tampa, Florida. And if you like wrestling, I guess SmackDown Live was okay, but if you like a lot of bullshit and a lot of talking, SmackDown Live was the place to be tonight, and we are going to bring the hammer down on tonight's episode right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and Podbean, baby. It's the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show! Let's do it! All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me is the greatest tag team in all of professional wrestling podcasting, Thor, the new and improved, shiny and sexy Thor, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy, my most trusted companion, looking sexy as well, donning that beautiful championship belt because he is the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball Microphone. Thank you guys for joining us on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's official Smackdown Live Review as we are on this road to SummerSlam. And like I said at the very open, I'm not quite sure exactly how I feel about today's show, because on the one hand, we had a fantastic tag team matchup, but were the participants really the ones we wanted to see in this matchup? And is the finals of this tag team tournament actually featuring the two most deserved teams? We're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later on, but tonight it was as if the WWE decided, hey, let's bring back Talking Smack and throw like a wrestling match in there. I felt like I was watching a pay-per-view pre-show. All this talking and talking and talking. Now, for the most part, everything that was being said in Samoa Joe's case, with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, all of these things were entertaining and relevant and were very good. But I want to see some people wrestle. And then when outside of that tag team matchup, all you want to give me is two women's matchups, one of which shouldn't be happening right now, and the other one shouldn't be happening at all. If that makes any sense. Let's talk about tonight's SmackDown Live. And we're going to start talking about the women, and everybody please calm down, because I love my women's wrestling, just like we talked about last night. Last night's review was absolute fire. I was spitting hot lava. It'll make you sweat, baby. It's an absolute red-hot roasting of Monday Night Raw. If you missed it, go check it out after you check this one out. But tonight's not going to be that intense. Although SmackDown Live found plenty of reasons for me to bring this hammer down to you guys, and we are going to start it off with the ladies. Now, the opening segment was actually pretty good. I am not a mook. I am not an idiot. I seen the writing on the wall throughout the entirety of the whole thing. Becky Lynch came out. You know, she wasn't born a champion. She's pandering to the crowd. The crowd's eating it up. Everybody's getting behind Becky, as you should be, as I am. And then, of course, Carmella has to come out and put her 2 cents in, right? I'm immediately gearing up for that shrill voice that she has, for her overly arrogant promos that she's been doing lately. Just for the record, without Ellsworth, Carmella just automatically raises in stock maybe about 10%. She's not as vomit-inducing as usual. And then this segment that they gave to her, she actually pulled it off very nicely. Maybe one of the best uses of Carmella I've seen since she's been on the main roster, just in the way she delivered the promo. She was tearing up. She came off as very genuine. But if you are not an idiot, like I am not, like most of you guys are not, as I pointed out, you know that at some point Carmella is going to turn this into an attack and gain an advantage on her upcoming challenger. So that is exactly what ended up happening. Although Carmella was very good for the first time, I just seen it coming. It was very, very predictable. You have James Ellsworth's music hit. Now, how stupid is Becky Lynch to even respond to this goof-off's music? He's been fired. Now, I know there's always the element of surprise and that it caught her off guard. If anybody's music would have played, she probably would have turned away. But this was unnecessary. This was unnecessary. Becky Lynch, when Carmella extended her hand in respect, you know, after all the shit she said, building up Becky and building up the women's division and pushing the evolution, she extends her hand in mutual respect. You know Becky Lynch is not going to do it, no matter how heartfelt Carmella was coming across. So Becky, I guess, would have just walked away. You know what I mean? In my opinion, that's what I would have done. You would have just turned around, walked away. Carmella could have attacked her no matter what she did. You didn't need the Ellsworth music. It just seemed a little bit overbooked. You know what I mean? A little too much. You could have went a simpler route and got the same result. All in all, I wasn't too upset by it. It was just very, very predictable. We could all see this coming. After we had this open up, we had the Usos come out. They were referencing their cousin The Rock. They used his own little promo telling everybody they're going to take it and shove it sideways and stick it straight up your candy. And then the other Uso was like, yo, chill, we're PG. You can't say the word ass. Who cares? A lot of name dropping of The Rock, not just on this one particular episode, but recently, due to the heavy rumors that the WWE wants him at WWE's WrestleMania 35 here in New York this year. I could care less. I could take it or leave it. It all depends on what they're doing with him. If they're going to put The Rock against Roman Reigns, I have the solution for you. I might do a video on that if you're interested in what I would do to make Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania a successful main event. Just let me know and I'll take the time and make that video for you. Otherwise, they are heavily rumored to be bringing him in for Elias, to be an opponent for him at some point. Elias dropped the name of The Rock last night on Monday Night Raw as well. Lots of Rock talk going around, so don't expect to see him. I mean, don't be surprised to see him popping up sometime sooner, probably, rather than later. This was on their way to the ring, their pre-match promo, going up against The Bar in another semi-final match to see who will be going on to take on the New Day and win that #1 contendership and go on to SummerSlam to take on the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. The Women's Championship. Might as well be the Women's Championship. See, my brain is all over the place because the women are just dominating my mind right now just because of the way the WWE is just pushing everything down your throat, you guys. I mean, we're talking about the tag team division, the tag team championships. That was a stupid error, but we're going to leave it in. We're not going to restart this video. Who gives a shit? People make mistakes, right? Do you forgive me? I bet you do. Let's move along. Usos versus The Bar was a fantastic match. It was great to see The Bar back again. Don't get me wrong. Great to see them back. They haven't lost a step. Their chemistry with the Usos is still there. And yeah, this was a great match. But much like I said all through last night's show, what did we see tonight that we haven't already seen these guys do all through last year? At WrestleMania, in the pre-show, WrestleMania 33, The Bar versus the Usos before the brand split. This is almost the only tag team matchup we've seen at one point. How many times can we see the same things over and over again? It was refreshing only because The Bar has been gone for so long, so you guys felt like it was new. You felt like you were seeing something different, but you weren't. Bang! Told you, the hammer comes down on this show. The show might have been decent. Maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe you like a lot of bullshit. Maybe you enjoyed everything you've seen tonight, but there is something wrong with almost everything we could talk about, with the exception of the stellar performance of Samoa Joe, which we will get to. The tag team match was good, like I said, but were The Bar the right team to even be in this tournament? They haven't been around. They came back and just automatically were inserted into this tournament for the championships just based off of the fact that they're former champions. That's not how I like my wrestling to work. That's not logical to me. These guys need to beat at least whatever 4 teams are around before they should be given a chance back at the championship. Don't you think? They just show back up and it's just, hey, here's the championship title shot because you guys were awesome once. In my opinion, Sanity is the one that lost out here. They are the ones that should be being pushed. I know maybe towards somewhere in the back of their minds, they're thinking, well, we can't have Sanity versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Well, that is where you need to be creative. And on this road to SummerSlam, the Bludgeon Brothers should have somehow dropped the titles to a viable babyface tag team so that you could get Sanity over. Perhaps the Usos. Sanity came in, starting their whole run, just attacking the Usos, going off on the Usos. Why are they not involved in this? I don't understand. They should have definitely been advanced further. They should be facing the Usos for the right to face whoever the champions should have been at SummerSlam. That would have made sense. That would have been logical booking. But instead, we had the return of a tag team that hasn't been around to take part in a match tonight that we've seen 100 times, to win and go on next week to see another match that we've seen 100,000 times already. And the winner of this match is going to go on to SummerSlam. I'd bet my hat right here that they are going to have some sort of a stupid no contest finish and we'll end up getting a triple threat. That seems to be the trend for tonight. The Bar come back, beat the Usos, which I don't agree with either. I think that, if anything, the Usos should have been the one put over here. The Bar has some work to do. They just got back in town. As good as they are, you know, Sheamus is a good friend of the show. He did a promo spot for us. Cesaro, we're a big fan of Cesaro. I just like logic in my booking. I don't like people just coming back and just, oh yeah, these guys used to be champs. Give them a shot at the championship. They deserve it. What reason do they deserve this chance? I don't get it. On the same coin, we don't even have to flip the coin. We can stay on the same side of the coin when we're talking about the return of Charlotte Flair to SmackDown Live tonight. Charlotte is back, she tells whoever the hell she talked to in the back. I don't know if it was the Caruso bot or the Fuentes bot or whichever drone they got in the back interviewing people nowadays. It might have even been Renee Young. I wasn't paying attention solely because Charlotte is back, she says, and she's ready to reclaim her throne. Ready to reclaim her throne. All right. Now, initially right here, I didn't mind too much. But while we're talking about Charlotte, let's just go on, because obviously my brain wants to talk about this. And before we go through the rest of the show, let's carefully tiptoe around the women's division, because I don't want you people to get pissed off at me, and I don't want you to get the wrong idea. But the fact of the matter is, exactly just like I stated with the Bar, Charlotte Flair tonight came back to SmackDown Live and was gifted an opportunity to gain entry into the championship match at SummerSlam. And I don't agree with this at all. For two reasons. One, I already stated to you. I don't want to repeat it all again, but the fact remains, you just got back. You've been off TV for months. You've been off promoting books and getting your tits fixed and apparently getting your nose redone, and now you're back. And just because you're the queen, and just because your name is Flair, and just because you're a former champion, you deem yourself worthy of a rematch with a woman you have lost to twice already. I don't care what the circumstances surrounding the loss was. You lost twice to the champ. You had your shot twice already. Get to the fucking back of the line, queen. I don't give a shit. That's how I view it. And on the other side, you have Becky Lynch, who is now a casualty of WWE favoritism and agendas. What need was there for Charlotte to be added to this match? Zero. I think you had a much better story in play with Becky finally getting her solo run back at the championship that she held before anybody. Before Charlotte was a 2-time this, 3-time that, before Carmella even knew how to tie her boots, Becky Lynch was the first ever SmackDown Live Women's Champion. She has yet, like she pointed out tonight, be allowed to go back to that point. And now she's right there on the precipice, 3 weeks away from getting that chance, and her best friend comes and shits all over it, because that's what the WWE does. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not an idiot, like I like to say, and like I like to bring to your attention. I understand what they're doing, and I can appreciate them taking the time to try to build drama and tell a story around this women's championship match. But all this reeks of, to me, is WWE's consistent laziness when it comes to their booking of pay-per-views and how they need to get everybody on the show. Why does Charlotte need to be on SummerSlam? She hasn't even been around. Why not have Charlotte come back at SummerSlam and help her friend? Help Becky reach new heights while making an impactful return to WWE at a grand event like SummerSlam. I don't know why I said it like that. I just had to announce it grandiose, as if they give a shit. Like, that's how they should be doing things. But they don't see the value in things like that. They just want to give you everything, just like this. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, here it is. You want this? Here, have it. We're not going to put any thought behind it. We're not going to work on it. I understand the best friendship crumbling story, but how good are they doing with that story on the Red Brand? Do you trust them to break up Becky Lynch and Charlotte in an interesting and meaningful way? I definitely don't. And who wants to see that? If they were creative, if they were smart, they would have had Becky Lynch and Charlotte side by side, winning streaks going on, Charlotte dispatching everybody, Becky dispatching everybody. Both of them lay claim to the championship, #1 contendership for the title, and Paige puts them in a match. That should be a SummerSlam match, with the winner going on maybe later that night to face off for the championship, or earning the championship match at a SmackDown Live. You don't have to defend the title at SummerSlam if you have a match for the right to face the champion on an epic level, such as Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. If done right, they could both remain babyfaces if it's so important for you to keep them that way, and you have just a competitive rivalry between two girls that keep winning. Eventually they're going to have to come to each other to see which one is better and who truly deserves a spot. Instead, we're going to get this. We're going to get dirty looks. We're going to get weird confrontations. We're going to get awkward conversations, and we're going to get more bad television instead of professional wrestling, because that's what WWE is. WWE is bad TV. They're not a wrestling company. They're a D-level television studio that makes terrible television, tells horrible jokes, and struggles with drama when it's all right there in front of them. And a guy like me could tell you ideas like that and spit them out at you like this, and they make more sense than what you're watching. You have to know that I'm right. Whew, I'm glad I got that out of my system. We are going to return to that when we talk to the other women's match. Talk about the other women's match, but for now, let's talk about Samoa Joe, my favorite part of tonight's SmackDown Live. Samoa Joe and his message for AJ Styles, and what a fucking message this was. If a person like Joe came out on national television and just buried my ass the way he buried AJ Styles tonight and burned him. You want to talk about burn it down? Samoa Joe burning down the house that AJ Styles built tonight. Absolutely beautiful piece of business. He went out there to just absolutely eviscerate AJ Styles without laying a finger on him. And mission was accomplished. Samoa Joe declaring that AJ Styles puts the championship above all else, and that makes him a failure as a father. Harkening back to what AJ Styles said last week in his promo for the WWE Evolution, when he said he could look in his daughter's eyes and tell her that anything is possible, right? And then you have Samoa Joe telling us tonight that AJ Styles isn't even home long enough to look his daughter in the eyes, taking shots at him, putting his family out there. That's something that only a bastard does. Absolutely fantastic promo by Samoa Joe, challenging the man's manhood, his ability as a father, and while he stands in the ring at SummerSlam and the WWE Universe is cheering for AJ Styles to be victorious over Samoa Joe, his family's going to be back at home cheering for Samoa Joe to be victorious so that his wife and children can have their daddy back. And Samoa Joe will have the WWE Championship. Are you fucking kidding me with this promo? Why this man is not on top already is a criminal injustice to all of professional wrestling. It's the best heel in the business. More beast than Brock Lesnar could ever be. Brock Lesnar doesn't have as charisma in his little finger, which is probably twice the size of mine, compared to what Samoa Joe has. Oh my God. I know I said that backwards, but you understand what I mean. Samoa Joe crushed it tonight, making everybody looking forward to see what AJ Styles is going to have to say next week when he makes a return to SmackDown Live. Do I give a shit that AJ Styles, our champion, wasn't around tonight? Hell no! It makes it more interesting. What do you think would have happened if AJ was there tonight? He would have came out, he would have said his piece, and they would have brawled in the ring. It would have been like Raw again. Just the same old shit. But instead, we got this beautiful thing from Samoa Joe. We also continue on with some interesting stuff, but again, more talking. Former United States champion and resident charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy comes out. His face is all painted up. He's got all 4 of his eyes on his face. He's doing his whole Jeff Hardy thing. He wants to come out and talk to the WWE Universe, right? He actually reveals to us that the United States Championship is like his 5th eye, right? And then he tells us that it's like an extension of himself. It completes him. It gives him purpose. And he wants to take it back from Shinsuke Nakamura. And that's on his to-do list, I guess. But tonight, he's all about kicking Randy Orton's ass. Now, I know he didn't say that. He said something like, oh, I'm going to beat the hell out of Randy Orton tonight. Woo! Next thing you know, Randy Orton's music hits. Jeff Hardy's in there ready to fight. Randy Orton stalking him like the slimy, dastardly viper that he is, taking his time getting into the ring, right? Slowly makes his way in, and the next thing you know, bang! Shin's KO out of nowhere! Shinsuke Nakamura taking a page out of Randy Orton, ambushing Jeff Hardy. Taking a page out of Randy Orton's book. He didn't take a literal page out of Randy Orton unless he was a fucking magician, but he's not David Copperfield. He's Shinsuke Nakamura, and he came out tonight to take care of business and absolutely level Jeff Hardy. He hit him with, I believe it was a spinning heel kick or something to the back of the head, incapacitating the charismatic enigma, dropping him to the mat. He's setting him up for the Kinshasa. Looks like he's about to go execute, and then Randy Orton jumps in the way, gets right in the guy's face, stops Shinsuke from doing what he was intending. Then he starts, like, staring. Lots of weird staring begins. And then he looks back at Jeff Hardy, and he looks back at Shinsuke Nakamura, and Randy Orton says, you know what? Shinsuke him out of nowhere. And he does, and he hits him with the Kinshasa. Jeff Hardy goes to sleep in the middle of the ring, as most of us would if you take a Kinshasa to the temple. And then Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton have like a dance of the eyeballs. I don't know how else to describe this extremely awkward face-to-face. I didn't know if they were going to fight each other or freak each other. Shinsuke Nakamura looking like he wants to make out with Randy Orton, getting all in his face, doing all these weird puppy dog eye things. One point, it looked like he was going to go down on the guy, the way he was lowering himself down his chest. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening? What is this weirdness? But I kind of enjoyed it. Not because of the weird sexual overtones or anything like that, but because this is new. This is different. This is an extremely awkward pairing. Team rated Shinsuke. I'm actually behind it. I think Randy Orton's deviousness and his history with Shinsuke Nakamura in the past does, lend to him being a manipulator of minds. Maybe he's getting into Shinsuke's head. Maybe they're going to form some sort of a team. And if you see or fucking hear this phrase anywhere else this week, next week, or from this day forward, you know you heard it first right here. I thought about it while we were watching SmackDown Live. I didn't fucking tweet it so that nobody stole it from me. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. But if I did, you heard it here first. Rated Shinsuke-O. I like it. I like it. I like how it turned out tonight. It definitely looks like it has potential to me if they do decide to go with it. Randy Orton, after Shinsuke Nakamura and all that weird stare-down stuff came to an end, Shinsuke would leave the ring, leaving Randy Orton to just absolutely like a vulture pick at the bones of Jeff Hardy, who was left laying outside the ring at one point. Randy Orton laying him out on the announce desk like a Thanksgiving turkey ready to be dressed. And then he just absolutely waterboarded the man. I don't know where he got the napkin from or the towel or whatever the fuck he had. I don't know if he pulled it out of his trunks. I didn't go back and rewatch. But man, he very, very aggressively removed the makeup from the face of Jeff Hardy. I guess in some sort of a symbolic gesture because the fans love his makeup. Or whatever the hell they were trying to say on the commentary desk. Because I didn't quite understand. You know, I mean, Randy Orton just being a bastard, I guess. You know what I mean? And you can't shit on that. I love evil Randy Orton. I love Shinsuke Nakamura when he's being all weird and stuff like this. And it's actually just confusing me because I'm not sure if Randy's inserting himself into the United States Championship match. How many multi-man matches are we going to have on this night? I'm not sure where they're headed with this. But as far as I know, we're going to get a rematch for Shinsuke. But Randy Orton's been biting people all over the place. RKO's out of nowhere. Coming to everybody, if you ask me. But I'm not sure where they're going with it. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you got me sitting here saying, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, then you got me thinking and you left me hanging. Which is how you're supposed to leave me. I'm not supposed to know what's going to happen next week. Or at SummerSlam. So this was good. You got Becky Lynch coming out there, being interviewed again, being asked about why Charlotte Flair, or how she feels about Charlotte Flair having the opportunity of involving herself in this title match. And she pretty much echoes everything I was feeling as soon as I saw Charlotte get this opportunity handed to her. And I started to see the seeds of this best friendship, you know, starting to come apart at the seams. And I immediately shudder. And the chill goes down my spine as all I could see is the memories of Bayley and Sasha from Raw. This is not the right way to go about it. So it bothered me all night long. But at least I know that Becky Lynch, at least in character, feels the same way I do. And possibly not going to just sit around and take it anymore. We'll have to wait and see. We come to a women's match that should not have happened on this night. That match is Lana versus Zelina Vega. Last week on this show, I said to you guys, I would be on board for Lana and Zelina Vega if they did it right. And they already fucked up. Because this match shouldn't have taken place yet. What I suggested to everybody last week is that they take the seeds they planted there during Andrade Cien Almas' match with Rusev and the altercation between the two females and begin the feud there. It didn't need to already culminate into a match. I think we would have been fine over the next 2-3 weeks having them get at each other on social media, bumping into each other backstage, maybe getting involved during a rematch between Almas and Rusev to the point where the guys have to turn their attention from their match and pull apart the girls and have the match thrown out. So now you have set a reason and you put something in place to give your brain a reason to be excited about this. And as I stated, Zelina Vega could definitely bring Lana to a good match if given the proper time to work with one of the lesser talented professional wrestlers on the roster. Don't get me wrong, Lana's got the look. She's very athletic. It's great that she can do a fucking handstand split. Good for you. but she can't wrestle worth a lick. She's sloppy, she's slow, her timing is off. And Zelina Vega, to the best of her ability, got her through this match. Now imagine if she actually had a couple of weeks notice and say, here's where we're going, you guys have a match at SummerSlam, make it work. And then they had a chance to work on some stuff. I think it would have been much better. It would have done a service to the girls. You would have had Zelina Vega's debut match on the main roster at SummerSlam instead of just on SmackDown Live. In which case you could still have held her debut match for SmackDown Live for a later date. You have them just build the feud over the next few weeks through vocalizations. Both of these girls are great on the mic. Except when she's rolling her R's for the Rusev in Lana's case. It's like she forgets that she's not Russian when she says his name, and then she goes into Havali speak. Rusev, you know, I gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? Lana, come on. Babe, get it straight. Zelina Vega, fantastic on the mic. She's been putting over Cien Almas ever since she's stepped foot in NXT. She's absolutely great at her job. The two of these girls could have put something together and made it interesting. But instead we got tonight, which was a slow, boring affair and predictable because Rusev was not there with her. For what reason would Rusev not be there? Well, Rusev wants his space. Rusev wants his space. Rusev wants his space last week. Don't you think 7 days was enough time of space? Why wouldn't he be out there with his wife? Now the storytelling that they're trying to do comes into play because by him not being out there, you know Aiden English is coming out. You know Rusev's not going to come out. You're waiting the whole match for Cien Almas to stick his nose in where it doesn't belong so that Aiden English can come out, which is exactly what happens. And then it just goes to shit. I don't know for what reason Lana got down off the top rope. She didn't execute a move and miss or anything like that. Aiden English came out to help her, and instead of trying to gain an advantage, she gets down from the top rope and starts looking at the guys, which leaves her open for Zelina Vega to wrap her up and win with a flash pinfall roll-up. The only good thing happening was Zelina Vega getting the win in her debut match because she deserves it. This match, if you don't know Zelina Vega's work in TNA and her independent career as Thea Trinidad, you guys don't understand how much of a bad opponent she was given. This was terrible. This was a terrible way for her to debut on WWE television. Lana is nowhere near the level of a Zelina Vega as far as it comes to wrestling ability. The girl's been in the industry for almost a decade. She can wrestle circles around Lana. And by not allowing her to work with her before just throwing them into a match based off of a few social media texts after last week's altercation on SmackDown Live, who cares? Don't really care. Where is this going now? We've seen them fight. Who cares now? You could have made it big. You could have had the rematch from SummerSlam at Evolution. You could have extended it. Long-term storytelling. It works. I wasn't too happy with it. I thought Zelina Vega was way better than this. You'll see what I have to say, what I'm saying, if they continue to use her in any way. Daniel Bryan comes out. Daniel Bryan comes out to address the situation with The Miz. And then they go backstage to Rusev, who's all pissed off at Aiden English for what happened. And he talks to his wife. Lana's saying, you know, tonight I really needed you and you weren't there. All extra added drama to something that means absolutely nothing. Let me go back to the ring where Daniel Bryan is in there. He starts talking shit about The Miz. Now things start to get good again. But again, talking. Lots more talking. Lots more bullshit. Although this, again, was a great setup for things that are going on between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Daniel Bryan says the Miz is continuing to hide behind the imaginary walls that he is placing between he and Daniel Bryan. The Miz first was hiding behind Daniel Bryan's injury and felt strong and felt courageous to do these things because he knew that Daniel couldn't retaliate. And then The Miz last week on SmackDown Live wants to throw babies at him. He wants to have a baby strapped across his chest to act as a wall between he and Daniel Bryan to stop the inevitable confrontation, because The Miz knows that Daniel Bryan will punch him right in the face and that The Miz cannot beat Daniel Bryan. Great stuff. And then The Miz comes up on screen. He's on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set? He's on the set of Miz and Mrs. somewhere. Who cares where he's at? But The Miz doing what The Miz does best. The Miz started up with Talking Smack 2.0. Pretty much just blasting Daniel Bryan to the best of his ability. Telling him that at one point that he just wants Daniel Bryan to shut up and go away. And that he's just a big crybaby. And then we had a bunch of pictures of crying babies pop up on the wall. At one point, I thought that when he had the first picture, I thought that was Birdie. I thought it was Daniel's baby girl just up there, made to be look like she was crying, which I thought would have been a little bit more effective, especially if you're trying to get underneath the skin of Daniel Bryan. But then we started getting more and more babies popping up and more annoying sound effects of the babies popping up. And now I'm like, all right, you just absolutely ruined this whole thing for me, because that's stupid. That was just very stupid. The Miz doesn't need picture additions to get his point across. He does just fine without visual aids. All right? You're trying to give me visual aids with what you got me looking at here. All these little tiny babies crying. Out of context, this is stupid. Bad comedy by the WWE. Ruining what was essentially a decent segment as Daniel Bryan lays out the challenge for SummerSlam and The Miz tells him he's just going to have to wait. The rest of SmackDown Live was our main event. Probably one of the worst main events you will see for the women's division. Now that they're getting main events, this was definitely not a good representation of what they bring to the table, as a rusty and returning Charlotte took on the worst women's champion of all time, after having her sit there and cry about it and talk about us on social media and all the people that say she suck and blah, blah, blah. I have no problem continuing to say so after watching this negative star match that she's having with somebody the caliber of a Charlotte Flair. After such a long layoff, Charlotte was just not as ready as the Bar was on this night. The Bar stepped in and was like they never left. Charlotte Flair looked like she needed to get a couple of more reps in before she got back. I don't know what it is. This match just kind of made me want to fall asleep. I don't know if it's because of my disinterest, because I wanted to see Becky just finally be put in the spotlight outside of Charlotte Flair. We get it. They're friends. Great. Can't she do something on her own? Like I said, while I appreciate the story they're trying to tell, Charlotte Flair gets the win tonight over Carmella. In a very rare night where I would want Carmella to actually win. You know, you're the champion. Go out there and beat Charlotte again. And do so cleanly, so that when you get to Becky at SummerSlam, it's meaningful. But now Carmella just lost. They are not that creative that all they do is go to the well of the same shit over and over again and just have the champion get pinned by the new incoming challenger to establish their qualifications for #1 contendership. And it's lazy. It's lazy. And in this case, it's unnecessary. We already had a #1 contender. Charlotte coming back and getting in Becky's business is going to lead to something else down the line. But I don't care. I don't want to see that. And mark my words, you guys. It's not over. By winning tonight, Charlotte Flair gets inserted into the Women's Championship match, making it a triple threat. I will bet my life that Asuka's going to be added to this before all is said and done. We got 2 more shows to go before the lamest party of the summer. And on this night, SmackDown Live, like I said, I mean, for the most part, on this night, it was a good show. I just wish there was more wrestling. And if you're going to give me 2 women's matches, give me 2 good women's matches. I think we would have been better off seeing Zelina Vega versus Charlotte Flair. Or anybody versus Charlotte Flair, for that matter. Who wants to see Carmella at all when she's wrestling? She's much better doing the mic stuff, as we saw tonight. Hammer had to come down on SmackDown Live tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed SmackDown Live more than I did. I hope you guys enjoyed this show more than anybody. And if you did, the best way for you to let me know that is to smash that like button with your imaginary sledgehammers at home. Hit it nice and hard. Get it all swollen up. Make the world know that you approve of everything we do here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show as we continue to celebrate our SummerSlam Spectacular. If you, my friends, are not subscribed to this channel, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button right now. Become one of the hundreds of people that are joining by the minute during SummerSlam, making this inaugural SummerSlam extravaganza one of the biggest we are going to have. And I hope that it continues with you, because my show is nothing without my fans. I have some of the absolute greatest fans in the whole entire world that make up my Sledgehammer Club. You reside in the comment section down below. Make sure you let me know what you thought of tonight's SmackDown Live, what you think of my show tonight. If you loved my Monday Night Raw review, let me know that one in the comments below. And if you haven't seen that one, go and check it out. We are also the home of the best Mae Young Classic content you are going to find anywhere on YouTube. Nobody does a Mae Young Classic preview like the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show does, and you have to see it for yourself to believe it. It's definitely worth your time. I got the scoop on all of these girls that are going to come in and absolutely blow you away. We are awaiting 3 more names that are bubbling underneath the surface. We are awaiting confirmation, and we'll have 6 more in total for part 3 of our Mae Young Classic preview. It's up there in 2 parts. Don't forget to watch them both and get to know everybody that we are going to see in just a couple of weeks at my favorite event of the summer, the Mae Young Classic. And if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button, because we're going to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. We're hitting that up. We are going to be putting up as much content as we can all summer long. We are going to be on top of SummerSlam for your previews and your reviews of all things this summer. And don't forget to be here, because House of Glory is coming home to Sledgehammer TV as we are set to take part in High Intensity 7 coming our way August 17th right here in New York City. Tickets are still available if you need some. Go to hogwrestling.net and meet me down there, because I'm going to be there and we'll film something for the show. What the hell? I'm trying to get as much content as possible that weekend, and for you to make sure you see it, make sure you are subscribed and notified. We got the 2-year anniversary special coming to kick the whole entire weekend off right in the teeth, and you're not going to want to miss it. Thank you guys. That has been everything for today. If you subscribe during SummerSlam, don't forget to also pick up your t-shirts. The official merchandise of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show is available. 2 t-shirts, the Sledgehammer Club and the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show logo tee, available right now only until SummerSlam festivities conclude at teespring.com. The link will be available down below. Do all those things for me and you will make me the happiest man alive. Who the fuck am I? You might be asking yourself. I don't know why you'd ask yourself that, because you've obviously heard the intro. You know my name, but if you don't, my name is Nick Nightmare. This is Thor the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, the hammer of reason, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy, my most trusted companion in the whole entire world. Hey there, Mr. Blue. We're so glad to be with you. And you. Thank you guys all so much for being with us tonight on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's official SmackDown Live Review. That, my friends, is going to do it. And we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of the fucking world, Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you for being a part. Have a good night.